Welcome to the Contact Center Cactus Chat podcast. I'm your host, Eric Malvin, and we're excited that you're back for another episode. It's been a while. This is our first episode of the new season, I guess. We've already had 1 year of podcast episodes, which is a huge accomplishment. So really quick, want to give a shout out to our podcast production team behind the scenes. Thank you guys for all the hard work you've been doing to put this together. I know it's not easy, but we've got a great episode today because we just recently, we have a huge announcement. And so I'll wait to talk about that announcement. But I brought a guest back on, Kiezia, who is our company culture director. And so welcome to the show again. Welcome back.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for having me back, and excited to talk about the big news that you have.
All right, so we've got some really exciting news, so let's get into that. I don't want to keep our listeners in suspense. So Kiezia, I want you to do the honors. So drum roll, what's the exciting news we have to share with everybody?
All right, thank you, Eric. So we just got certified as a great place to work this year.
Woo!
Excited to talk more about it.
Super excited about that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is getting the Great Place to Work certification. And I've got to play my favorite sound effect. Oh, it's so quiet. So, yeah, we got a lot to celebrate because after 8 years of having Pac Biz in existence, and the last 7 of those 8 years with Kiezia being director of company culture, we've put so much focus and effort on culture. So that's what we'll be talking about today. Getting the Great Place to Work, what it took to get that, and maybe at the end here, I'm going to ask Kiezia for some advice. If you're a business owner, maybe you're in charge of culture at your company, and you're like, I'd like to get that for my business, maybe Kiezia has some advice you could share. So let's dive into it, because first of all, there might be some people who don't know what this is, possibly. And so let's take a moment to explain what is Great Place to Work certification. And so I got a cool story that I want to share. A week ago, I'm in this business group, Vistage, and every month we meet up with other CEOs and we all help each other out. Same group of CEOs. So there's a person here in Phoenix starting a new group. And so she happened to be in our group this last week, and I was telling the group about my exciting news. Hey, we just got this Great Place to Work certification. And she was like smiling, and she had an interesting reaction. And she's like, you won't believe this, because her job was, before retiring and getting into this Vistage coaching position, she was president and CEO of I think over 5 different business journal publications here in the U.S. Phoenix is one of them. I think there's 17 different cities. But she said about 30 years ago, it was her paper that she was president of when they came up with this idea for the Great Place to Work, to recognize those employers that are going above and beyond and that are doing a lot more to, maybe they're giving back to the community, maybe they're helping make their employers healthier, maybe they're just taking care of them, because it's more than just a paycheck. Like, there's a lot of things an employer can do. So they started recognizing those companies in that city about 30 years ago, and it was such a success that they rolled it out to the other business journals within that next year, and then right away, like, it just started to spread. And so now it's spun off as its own organization, and they certify businesses around the world by surveying the employees to see how happy they are. Are they treated okay? And then we, as a company like Pac Biz, we get to see the results. How do we do? What are the areas we need to work on? But if you score high enough, you also get to be recognized and get the certification as a great place to work. And so companies like, I was looking up who are some of the businesses that have achieved this award. So Cisco, Salesforce, Hilton, Edward Jones, Capital One, Google, Microsoft, Accenture, Fidelity, Rocket Companies, Nvidia, SAP, Dell, Progressive, and the list goes on and on. So very big company names. And so that puts us, right in the same category of those companies. So it's really, so I wanted to set that up in case you didn't know what Great Place to Work is. So hopefully that gives you guys a little background. And it was something that Kiezia and I, so let's tell the story a little bit. We're on the podcast. We're here to tell stories. So when did we start talking about this, Kiezia? Do you remember?
Right, I do have an interesting story about how did I figure out about Great Place to Work. That was 3 years ago, and I just pitched the idea because during the COVID, I was with the downtime that we have, we no longer go to the office. So I tried to find opportunities for growth and value I could bring to Pac Biz. So I got into this like culture consulting group. They're, if I can tell it here, they're called Delivering Happiness. So I got like a free consulting with the group. And at the back of the, while doing the Zoom meeting, at the back of the Zoom, they have the best, they're actually considered best place to work. And while doing the culture coaching, they also mentioned that. So that certification, great place to work for us to get certified. Because Great Place to Work is globally renowned. It's a certification where it validates how great your culture is. But aside from that, they have a very innovative system or measurement for your culture improvement. But it says a great deal when you get certified.
Yeah, exactly. It is a great deal. And so thanks for sharing that story because, yeah, you were the one that found it. This is one of those things where, you know, when you're in the middle of COVID and we lost like half of our business overnight when COVID hit. And you could be sitting there thinking, like, how can any good come of this? We had to lay a lot of people off. There's a lot of people that were suffering. They couldn't make the income that they were making before. But yet, we were able to take these crazy adverse situations and turn them into positives because I don't think we would have even considered Great Place to Work. And I remember that year when you talked about it, and we're like, we're going to go for this one day. I don't know why. We didn't have it in the budget because we were struggling because of what was happening, but we're like, we're gonna go for this. And so it was cool because it was only like maybe April or March or April when we reached out. We're like, hey, let's look into this. What does this cost, and how do we work with getting recognized? And so because it's just really cool that we were able to move so quickly once we found out about it.
Right. I was excited when you said that we're going to get the certification. And that was actually, I think, 3 months ago. And I was like, I had this intention that, how can we level up Pac Biz, and that intention. And then you just, coincidentally, you found that sign one of the offices. Like a best place to work badge too, right?
Exactly. I forgot what burger place it was. It was like a fast food burger place here. And I saw the picture on the door and it reminded me like, hey, you know, like we should go for this. And so I was like, let's look into this. Yeah. So I remember sending that to you, but it was just that little reminder. And it's so funny, you know, timing is everything so much in business, and you feel like, man, why didn't that work out? And, you know, you beat yourself up over it. And then, you know, a year or two later, you realize, like, that was probably the best thing for me. So there's some advice for you guys listening. You know, just remember, it's a long journey. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, you know, because I really believe that we would have not gotten this award and the certification if it wasn't for our culture, which is why I'm talking here with Kiezia. So tell me, like, what would you say are some of the aspects of our culture that helped us get this award? Because you are the one that designed a lot of what culture looks like today at Pac Biz. So is there anything that stands out to you that we've done in the past that you think, like, yeah, that's definitely some winning things that helped us get here?
So yeah, I tried to, I'm also data driven, and I look at the data from Great Place to Work with their amazing system, metrics. So we were on top on communication, and we've done a lot on communication. We've been using centralized communication tools, and we have this in the HR. Actually, HR created this open door policy, and it's not just about the thing about open door policy is not just about you talk about your job, but you also talk about what, like, your struggles, about your day-to-day work, and that's so important, right? because it shows that you having that open door is a kind of support to our agents. Yeah, so that's on top communication, and also so 91%. That was the score. And second is the leadership behavior. Pac Biz had been known for having this great management coming from the CEO. And it's not just this culture thing. It's not just for us, but modeling, having this a good model for all the companies out there, right? To have this great to build this great culture for the people and for the business. Because when you take care of people, it's going to do good for the business.
So true.
Right.
And it's great when, it's unfortunate that there aren't more businesses that realize that they think, I think it's unfortunate that they have to have an award to recognize companies like this because it is that rare. And that shows you just how rare it is, because if there were that many companies doing it, there wouldn't be an award for this. So let me see. I want to dig more into this a little bit too. You mentioned the data that it gives us and being data driven. So we did get some really valuable information on areas that we're doing great in, areas that we can improve in. Was there anything else that stood out to you from the data that we got back? Because we did have over 90% of our staff participate, which is, I think, what was the goal that you guys had? Was it 90?
90 plus or above 90. And we hit that. So.
Okay. So we hit the goal. Well, yeah.
And the thing about it,
really exciting about that.
It's mad about that, the part, Eric. Yeah, because you only encourage people to participate. You cannot force. It's one of their guidelines is you cannot have it like a force or just encourage them to participate. So we have a big number of participants in that aspect. Right.
Yeah, we didn't do.
Right,
you can't do any kind of incentives, and otherwise it's a great way to get disqualified from the program. It's like asking to pay someone for an Amazon review, which happens unfortunately. But yeah. So, but was there anything that stood out though from what you saw from the data that we got back that you could possibly share? I don't know.
So 94% of technicians or like coworkers, fellow coworkers, said that they're proud to tell others that they work at Pac Biz. And it's such a big thing for them to have that number. And also 94% they said that they feel welcome. They made to feel welcome when they join Pac Biz. Yeah. So those are the top statements that we have from the data, and also about inclusion. People are treated fairly regardless of their sexual orientation. But there is if you specifically I think that stood out there for me would be they're given the resources and equipment to do my job, because although it sounds like a basic thing, but I just figured this out from other call centers here in Dumaguete that they don't really those that have big offices, they don't have a work from home setup. And given the competitiveness of remote jobs and the physical office, but then remote jobs it's not gonna from studying with my friends, they don't enjoy it because they don't have the social life, and the company offers the perks. So given the resources and equipment to do my job, I just want to dig deeper in that, because I know we spent so much on good resources to improve our people as well. I so love this about Pac Biz, how you can be your authentic self, so you can bring. That's how you bring value to the company, right? With your being authentic, bringing your skills and talent to the company, and it did. Personally, it did change. There's one specific tool that really changed, like let me be able to give a value to the company was that culture index, where
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
that one.
Which
That
was the last episodes, the last with Jackie. All right, so yeah, that was great. Thank you, Keisha, because I do love that we're able to help people be their true selves and as much as we can in whatever position we have at Pac Biz. So now, what's an interesting challenge that we're going to be facing, we've built Pac Biz up to this size over the last 8 years. The next big challenge we're going to face is as we grow, how do we maintain that culture? We're at 250 employees right now. We want to get to 1,000, so we're a quarter of the way there. But we're talking about opening up a site in another part of the Philippines that has no connection to Dumaguete. And so that's going to be an interesting challenge. So how important is something like the Great Place to Work certification as we're getting ready to do this big expansion and start pulling Pac Biz in new places that people don't know? They won't know us in other parts of the Philippines like they do where we're at now.
Yeah. So having that certification itself would tell, we had this ICT talent night in locally, and then we had our logo with a Great Place to Work banner for the first time up there, and I believe it's already attracting talents locally when they see that badge. So when we have the opening, like when we open another office, it's gonna be, especially when they search it like online, like most like, especially with this talent or skills, they would go for a Great Place or a company with considering their skills and talents, right? Like if you are doing it, if your company is great, then it would attract the same thing, great talents. And how do we maintain the culture in that? If we build another office, it would come down from the core values that we have. So again, going back to like the resources, we really spend so much on bettering any aspect of the business, including culture and maintaining our culture, so we can easily expand with that same culture that we build over the years. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that you're bringing up core values, because that was actually one of the questions I had was, core values at Pac Biz now. It's summer 2023. They really started we started that process right after COVID. Again, COVID, so many things happened. We could have thrown our hands up and like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to us? We decided, we're going to get to work. We're going to work on the business and work on the company. And so we went through a bunch of exercises, got everyone in the company involved, and came up with our core values of family, respect, teamwork, compassion, and personal growth. And for the last 3 years, we've been talking about it. We painted it as a giant mural on our walls. We're getting ready to launch another initiative where we're going to be talking about the behaviors that go with those core values, and we'll be talking about that every week with the staff. But talk to me about that. How important do you think we're having these core values to achieving this culture that we have, so that we could get this Great Place to Work certification?
Well, yeah, core values. Any company, as they call it, like compass or the guide. So from the word itself, guide. It's a guide for the culture they want to build for your company. So we wouldn't have this Great Place to Work without having a really core values. Specifically, when you get this certification, they would ask for very specific. There is like the charitable amount that you have or you're doing. So we've been big on that. We give on a monthly basis based on our core value compassion. And respect also. That's why we had this the 91%. That's on the leadership behavior. And leadership is so important in a company. You don't like your boss, and well,
Yeah.
right?
It's true. That's, I think, one of the top reasons why people leave their job is because they don't like their manager.
Right.
And so many people, they make the same mistake. So many companies make the same exact mistake. They just take, hey, this person's doing good in whatever job they are. Now you're in charge of people. They might hate managing people, and now they're doing bad. You're like, what happened? They were a good employee. Now they're showing up late. They're not happy with their job. They're not energized like they used to be. And so, that I hate to bring up culture index again, but like, that's right there where we got to find the right people into the right seat. And when you have that happen and you mix in those core values, then everything seems to just work. Because of the teamwork, we give people opportunities to give back to the community, which I really love. And then that means as we grow, we're going to be able to give back to more parts of the Philippines. And, I don't even think about the whole thing about, attracting people. Like, but you're right. We are going to attract people that are really talented, really smart, and hardworking, that are going to want to come to Pac Biz. They just didn't know we existed. And now that they start finding out we exist, we're going to get some really amazing people. So I'll be excited, to hear about who joins the team and who are those other 750 people out there that are going to be joining on. But because of those core values, though, I think we're going to be able to, because that's what we use to find the right people, right? Like for 3 years now, it's like, do they line up with these core values? And if they don't, maybe they've been working here and now they don't line up anymore. So we gotta show them the door, because it's a big family. We don't have room for someone that isn't performing, that isn't a good fit. So
right. So it's not just like amazing people, but they're gonna be working with an amazing company, being part of the Pac Biz family, like literally be part of the family. So we just had this former co-founder is like even he visited here, and he's still like part of the Pac Biz family. And we went to the Casa Miani, and also some of the former and present staff were joining him for hang around with him, right? And with our family, it's very evident with our partners how they also have their part, and they're just like friends or family. So actually, like family.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is we do it on a consistent basis. So just to borrow our general manager's quote, that consistency is the key. So yeah,
she does say that a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the consistent thing that you'll find at Pac Biz is those core values, and that we really try to put out into the world what we're trying to attract too. Like, we want to find people that line up with family, respect, teamwork, compassion, personal growth. So it's amazing when I'm talking to clients, and I'll share another example. This week I had an opportunity to interview one of our healthcare clients up in North Scottsdale, and we've been working with them for a year now. So I was like, hey, can we do a video testimonial? So I went out to their office and set up all the gear that I have around me, and I got to hear some stories, because you don't normally ask like these kind of questions on a normal conversation. So, you know, like, what impact did we have on your business? And, you know, I start digging into that, and the answers just blew me away. And, you know, it's like while he's there talking, I'm like thinking of ideas of like, my gosh, we should be doing more of this and that. But family, you know, that theme of family, that was something that came up with him. He's like, I really consider, you know, my virtual assistant as part of our family here at our company, and we want to be able to come out and visit the Philippines one day and see our remote employee in person. And it was cool to hear that, because they've never said that to me. So I didn't know that a lot of people say they want to come out to the Philippines, but I didn't hear that from them. But it's just, you know, like, and if you're not a good fit, like, we got to get rid of you too. And that's the same thing for clients, the staff. And so I think just as important as it is to find the right people, but when people aren't a good fit, we have to get them out too, because that could ruin, that's another one of the top reasons why people will leave a workplace, is because of toxic behavior with coworkers. You know, if there's constant gossiping, if they're at their work and they're just stressed out because they got to deal with all this crap, like, why do that? I'm going to go find another job where I could hit the reset button, and there'll be a bunch of people who have no idea who I am, and I don't have to think about this stuff. And that's what people are doing. They're quitting, they're going to other jobs. So, and I think the fact that we have this low retention, under 20% every year, that we've got people so happy, and these core values. So, Kiezia, I got to thank you for helping put all this in place at Pac Biz, because I know we wouldn't be here having this conversation if it wasn't for all the work that you and now your department has been, and the teamwork, not just the department. You guys get everybody involved in the company, and if we didn't have that involvement, if you did an event and 5 people show up, you know, what good is that? It's not making an impact, but people show up. We had an event earlier this year when I went to visit. They got a permit, shut the street down in front of the office, and we had former employees coming out to hang out. And so, I mean, stuff like that, it's just, you just see examples over and over and over again of those core values. And this is why I'm so excited that we have some validation here. Like, we've got now, instead of, like, the thing I've been saying, I think I said it in my video to everyone, you know, like, we could talk all day about how great our culture is, and we've got some really good data to back it up. But now we're getting some outside companies to look at Pac Biz and say, yeah, you know what? They do have a good culture. There is something good here going on, which is super helpful, because then hopefully we could attract more clients, which means we could hire more people, give more people jobs that fit those core values. And then 110 million people in the Philippines, I'm sure there's a couple hundred more we could find that match those core values to work at Pac Biz. So
I so agree, Eric. Yeah. And we were just like, it's a smart thing to do. We're getting to the core here, instead of just, changing. I mean, your core values is we're just getting to the core of things, right? To run your business smoothly, and that's the power of having this, like, strengthening your core values. And I believe in any culture. So
for sure, 100%.
We don't have to, like, change employees to do the job. You'll be part of the Pac Biz family forever if you join us.
All right, Kiezia. Well, it's getting to be about the time to wrap up our episode here today. So thank you for helping me make this huge announcement. Great Place to Work certification. But we're not done. We still have more to talk about here, including some really amazing advice that Kiezia shares to companies that are thinking about improving their culture, about maybe going to that Great Place to Work certification. And so make sure to subscribe. Make sure to check back in 2 weeks where we continue the conversation, and we'll keep talking more about what makes Pac Biz a great place to work. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Kiezia, for being on the show today. So
thank you, Eric. It has been great chatting with you.
And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
See you.
All right, and catch you guys in part 2. All right, bye.